Hello everyone. So today we are going to learn about one of the very important transformation within Informatica that we call it as a update strategy transformation. This transformation is again I'm emphasizing this is very important transformation because in data warehouse population, which is the prime use of the Informatica ETL tool, we are going to use this update strategy transformation very often. So whenever you are having any condition of SCD or any mechanism by which you are going to upload the data in a slowly changing dimension tables, then you are supposed to use this update strategy transformation. As a quick points to note, this is actually a active and connected transformation. When I say active and connected transformation, this particular transformation has to be used in a pipeline, and the number of records passing through this transformation is going to be different. I mean to say that the number of rows output from this transformation is not equal to the number of rows coming inside that, and that makes it as an active transformation. Second point to emphasize is this is mainly used for updating or deleting and even rejecting the rows from the target table. Third point to emphasize is the purpose is to control how much data you need to insert or update or delete or reject. So these are the basic 3 or 4 points which can be used using an update strategy, and this can be based on any kind of given condition. The operations which are supported in update strategy transformation are these 4 operations: insert, update, delete, and reject. You can synonymously use insert with the constant called dd underscore insert, update as dd underscore update, and similarly for delete and reject. The numerical value, sorry, so the numerical values for each are as per the table you can see here, that if you mention 0, it is supposed to be treated as a dd insert. In this constant, dd stands for data driven, so that is the full form of dd. Any other value other than this 0, 1, 2, and 3 will be treated as insert. So that is one note you should always know. This particular transformation has to be on a target table. So that target table should always have a primary key inside it. So that's the point which I have written. Primary key should be present in the target table while use of this transformation. Usage of this transformation with lookup transformation, and again when I say lookup and aggregator transformation, these are the 2 transformation which are mainly used whenever you are using any update strategy transformation within a mapping. So these are the basic points for using an update strategy transformation. Now let me quickly jump into one of the problem statement which we are going to solve here is, let me state this problem here and then explain to on the Informatica system. So let's say my problem statement is I have a target, or rather I have a source which is a flat file. It's an item flat file. I'm going to create a relational database as my target, which will be exactly same as the flat file items of my source. I can use the transformation. So these are the quick hint, but when I will use or rather when I will state the problem statement, then you will realize why I have written that I'm going to use a expression, unconnected lookup, and then a update strategy is. So the expectation from my mapping is these are the four prerequisite, or rather the requirement for my mapping. The first is load the item data from the source file to the target. So whatever data is there in my source flat file of items, I need to push that to the target. The constraints are any new item will be always inserted. Existing items will always be updated. Existing discontinued item will be deleted, and new discontinued item will be rejected. So these are the constraints which I have added in the mapping goal. Now let me quickly jump into the Informatica system to show you the source file for me. So the input file I'm going to use, this is the input file for me. So input file, you can see I am going to have some text file, and this file is having fields like item ID, item name. This is the item description I have. Then the price for that item, wholesale cost. There is a flag called discontinued flag. So this can be either 0 or 1. That will treat whether this item is discontinued or not. Manufacturer's ID and the distributor ID. So these are the ports for me. For the very first time, all these records will supposed to go into my target. So since there is no target available, I'm going to create everything into the target. So quick thing is I'm going to create a source for me. So let me import this from file. So ff items is the one which I need to import. So this is my input file. I'm going to use the same schema for my target table. So I'm quickly going to the target. Let me clear my editorial area. Let me get to the full screen mode. On this target, I'm going to use this ff items as the schema for me. Let me quickly change few things like, or rather let me keep the names as is. I'm just going to change this database type as Oracle. Let me name this as items underscore update strategy. So this is the name I am using for my target table. I'm keeping the columns as it is. I'm just making my table to have item ID as not null character, and I'm going to create this as a primary key here. Let me apply this. Just for the sake of my example, I don't want to keep my item ID limited to 28 characters, and the description I want to make it as 100. And let me keep all other values as it is. Let me save this, and I would like to create this on my target. So I'm going to use the generate SQL file. I'm going to give the name as items underscore UPD strategy. I'm going to connect to the database for target. The name of my user is demo underscore rnw underscore trg, and that's the same password I'm going to use. So you can see my connection is done, and I am going to select the table in my editorial area, and I'm going to generate and execute this file. So you can see my file got created, or rather my table got created. Now I can quickly verify my table going to the SQL plus. So my table, I'm going to use the same user demo underscore rnw underscore trg. That is the user on which I have created the table. So now I can connect to the table. If I want to see this, now just do a, first let me describe the table. Describe, I have created items underscore UPD underscore strategy. You can see the data is there, or rather the table got created. So table has all the fields over there. If I just do a select star from this particular table, you can see there is no row selected as of now. So that was expected because no data has been transferred to it. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to close this. So I have the data saved. I'm going to the mapping right now. Let me create the mapping for me. So I'm naming it as update strategy example. I'm going to pull the flat file, which is my input. So you know how the file look like. Now my target is going to be the items update strategy, which is a Oracle table. Now, if you remember, my problem statement is I have to push everything, whatever is there in my input, to the target definition. So if that is the only requirement, I can directly map everything. But I have few other constraints, like I have to also know that if the item is already present in my database, then I'm going to update it based on the value of my discontinued flag. So how I will know whether my data is there or not? So for that, I have to use a maybe a lookup transformation. So let me quickly create a lookup transformation, and I'm going to use this as an unconnected lookup. So let me first create a lookup transformation. Let me name this as item presence. Create this. I'm going to use it from the target database. So I am going to use this particular table for lookup because that is the target which I would like to scan before pushing the data. Click on OK and say done. In this entire table, go to the ports. You know all these things by this time. So I'm just trying to connect whatever I'm getting, or rather I don't want all these things as a output port. I only want the item ID to be my output port. So I'm unchecking all the other ports, and I'm going to use the return of item ID. And apart from these ports, I'm going to create a new input field here. So let me name this as I underscore item underscore ID. This will be again the same, that is decimal. of precision value 4. Anything which is more than that, this will not be an output port. So I am unchecking this and say apply. Now it is saying that the lookup condition is empty. So for that I have to go to the condition tab and add a condition. So again, lookup table item ID, I need to connect with the input item ID. Now say apply and OK. In this, I need to pass this. I need to pass this input item ID. So let me use this as an unconnected fashion. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an expression transformation here. And this expression transformation is supposed to give me few things. So let's see what this will give. So let me name this as item status. So in this, I'm going to pass few things like item ID. I'm going to pass the discontinued flag. So these are the two things which I'm going to pass to the expression transformation. In this expression transformation, I am going to use a new port. So let me take this as a variable port. I am naming this as variable underscore lookup underscore item ID. This is going to be a decimal value. You should always check the precision for this. So what I remember, the precision is 28. And if you don't remember, you can again go back in this port and see what the precision for item ID is. So here item ID's precision is 4. So I can keep anything which is more than that. So you can keep it as 4 or 5. Now you have to give some expression to this. So the expression which I am going to use for this variable port is, I am going to use the lookup transformation here. So just give lookup transformation and pass the input item ID to it. Say OK. So this is one of the variable port, and based on this value, I am going to decide whether I need to insert or update or delete or reject. So for that, I'm again creating another output port. So let me name this as output underscore maybe insert or update or delete or rejected. This is going to be a string of, let's say, 20 precision. This is going to be an output port, and here I have to pass some condition. So what I can use here is if condition, if my port called variable lookup item ID. So this I can check for null. So what I can do is so I can check if is null for the variable item ID. Then I need to check the value for the discontinued flag. So if you are saying that if is null v LKP item ID, that means lookup item ID is null. That means it is not available there in the target table. So in that case, the data is not available. I need to either insert or push it to the rejected file. So, so this is for this condition. What I will write is If this is null, then again I will write the if condition. Then I'm going to use if the discontinued flag, which is nothing but a decimal. So if this guy is equal to 0, then I'm going to pass the input as INS. So this is the output which I'm going to pass. Else I'm going to pass the output as rejected. So this is all done. So this is the condition if is null gets satisfied. If this is null is not satisfied, that means there is some value for this lookup item ID, then I need to again put a condition. So that condition will be if, again I can use discontinued flag, is equal to 0. That means item ID is there and discontinued flag is 0. That means it's a case of update. And the other case where item ID is present and discontinued flag is not 0, that means it's 1, then this is a clear case of delete. So this completes the condition, and I have to close the bracket, validate this. This expression is valid now. Click on OK, apply this, and say done. Now I'm going to use a transformation called update strategy transformation. UPD is the prefix for this. Items in target. So on this update strategy, I'm going to push everything whatever I have from source qualifier. Okay, so far so good. So we have all the data available from source qualifier, and I'm also going to push this decision based on the expression transformation to the update strategy transformation. On this particular update strategy transformation, you can see in the ports, you can only have input and output ports, and you cannot actually go and change any of the things. So update strategy has to have all the ports predefined, and that has to be input as well as output. You can go and create any number of ports to this, but the condition is all these ports has to be connected with some input and has to go as an output. So for now I do not need these extra fields. I'm keeping it as it is. In property there is something called as update strategy expression. So by default, if you do not change this, then update strategy will not work as it is. I have to go and change this expression for update strategy. Now here you have to give some condition. So the condition will be now based on the available ports in my update strategy transformation. So if you see, I already have port something called as O insert update delete rejected. So this is nothing but the output from the expression transformation. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to check this against if it is insert. Then I'm going to use dd underscore insert as one of the constant. If this is not true, then I will use another condition, like if again this is equal to, if it is update, then going to use the dd underscore update The third condition is if it is going to be uh, delete, that is del, then I'm going to use the constant for dd underscore delete, and the last condition is if this output port is equal to rejected, then I am going to use the condition or rather constant for dd underscore reject. This is the closure for the first bracket. This is the closure for the second last if, second if, and the first if. So with this, my expression is successful. Click on OK, apply, say OK, and based on this update strategy definition, I am going to push all these values to the target. So let me connect these lines. So with this, my mapping is complete. Now let me quickly create the workflow for this. So my workflow is ready. So let me quickly go to the workflow manager. Here I have my m underscore update strategy transformation workflow available to me. Here I need to push the dollar target value, so that I'm giving the correct connection object here. In the mapping, my input file is residing at this location. So let me quickly give the path to my source directory. And in the target, I'm going to use the dollar target as the variable. This I'm going to change as normal. I'm not changing any other property over here. In lookup, I do not need to change anything because it's by default dollar target, and I have already set my dollar target variable. In expression, I'm not changing anything. In update strategy, I'm not changing anything. So I'm keeping it as it is and saying save. Now let me quickly execute this. One thing to catch here is, again, if you all remember, I have either updated, deleted, inserted, or rejected some records. So for rejected records, it's going to go in this particular file. So there is something called as reject file name, and it is going to be created here. So let me, for my analysis sake, I'm going to give this target table folder as the path. Let's say apply this. Now let me execute the workflow. So update strategy is successful. If it is successful, that means whatever input data is there in my flat file source, let me check this in my target table. So now you can see that the 28 rows got added to my target table. Now, how many data was there in my source source table? So for that, if I go again back to my source table, open the FF items sheet, and if I go here and say Control L, extremely sorry, so it will be so you can see from you can see how many items are there. So basically there are, if I remove this first line, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 31 records are there in input file, but in output I got 28 rows. So there will be 3 records which were marked as rejected file. So I have given the rejected file path as the target directory, and this is the bad file which I had created. So if I open this with, let's say, textpad, you can see 3 records are available here. So that is what the condition for rejected record played a role. Same thing you can try with changing the input and trying to update anything, or maybe changing the discontinued flag to 1, so that that will get deleted from the target table. So that's all about update strategy transformation. I hope this video is useful to you and you can leverage this in your day-to-day mapping with the usage of update strategy transformation. If you have any questions, feel free to post your questions in the comment section. I will try to respond as soon as I get time. Thank you.